My name is William. I am a well-known and accomplished entrepreneur who oversees multiple businesses. To be honest, though, I have little interest in that area of my life. I live in a nice home and have a stable income, but that doesn't really matter to me. All that counts to me is my ability to perform my job. I believe I will likely remain alone for the rest of my life since I adore what I do. Although many around me believe that, as a CEO, I should be able to relax, I would much rather continue to be actively involved in the day-to-day operations of the company. I'd occasionally go visit the site dressed for work. You don't need to do all that, they say, but interest and a want to participate are what matter to me. Hello, William. Hey, Tyler. What's up? This is Tyler, a childhood friend of mine. He's the only close buddy I have left since I relocated to the city and lost contact with my peers from my hometown. I told everyone I was going to be a businessman when I left my hometown, but they all thought it was such a romantic idea. I departed with the purpose of leaving everything behind at that point, because there was no point in staying in touch with individuals who didn't believe in me. At the time, Tyler was the only person who gave me support and encouragement. I relocated to the city at the same time as a few others from my hometown, but Tyler is the only one I stay in contact with. Oh gosh, something about this seems off to me. I understand that you would rather not socialize with individuals from your hometown, but I have been requested to organize an event for singles. We are lacking one employee, and it is intended exclusively for those employed by large corporations. What? Who is that haughty individual? First of all, I don't work for anyone. I know you detest it, but it's Jake, haha. I apologize for not being able to decline, but the only other people from our hometown who moved away are married, so there isn't anyone else to ask. Jake, you can leave early if you just attend the first portion. You are not required to pay anything. Please don't worry about the charge. Give me your word that you won't discuss my work with anyone after the first section, and I'll depart. Excellent, many thanks for it. Naturally, I'll forget about it and express my gratitude later. The last person I saw from my hometown was actually Jake. At the time, he was the one that made fun of me the most. Even though I am happy doing what I love and am a successful entrepreneur now, remembering back on that period still pisses me off. Are you serious? I am, of course. Nothing is insurmountable for a human, is there? That is absurd. Do you know how many people live in New York? Perhaps in our hometown. That's why I'm doing it. Listen, let me explain. You don't understand. People who are successful beyond our wildest dreams are made in New York. The best thing that us rural people can hope for is a steady career in a large corporation. Working for these remarkable people and partaking in the sweet benefits of their achievement is the New York dream. I don't think so. Oh, how unyielding you are. Okay, all right, I'll just laugh when I see you in 10 years, sobbing and failing. Then don't come wailing to me for assistance. Don't worry, that won't happen. That was Jake for you, someone who clung so tightly to a rural way of thinking and who, for whatever reason, fiercely resisted my goals. Upon reflection, why did he make such a strong effort to stop me? He had no bearing on my future. I simply can't comprehend those kinds of individuals. After a few days. Hello, William. Hey, Tyler. What's up? Is the mixer canceled? No, regrettably, it is still ongoing. To set the date, I just gave a call. Sorry, but it's not possible. What time is it? It's 2 weeks from now, on Friday. What do you think? Okay, I'll adjust my schedule so I can go straight there from my work outside. Man, thank you so much. We ought to grab dinner together sometime. I'm definitely up for that. I used to be concerned about Tyler's ability to thrive in the city because he is so gentle and modest, but I'm happy to see that he is enjoying his work and has been slowly moving up the corporate ladder at a large corporation. Jake seems to be seeking girls by flashing his money, and this mixer seems to be more of the same. I've heard that he got a position at a respectable company. Tyler refused to invite me since he was aware of my relationship with Jake, but Jake insisted on having a successful person so he wouldn't look foolish. Tyler was put in a difficult situation and reached out to me because he needed someone with a high standing who was not more noticeable than himself. Though I theoretically have more standing than Jake as a business owner, I've kept my true job a secret from him. Tyler probably figured that since I'm not into romance, I'd be a simple pick for this, as if I'm the kind of person who gets excited about love, it will impede Jake's progress. I don't disclose my line of work to anyone outside of Tyler because of an earlier incident. Actually, after learning about my profession, someone from my hometown began taking advantage of me. If they had requested for a job in my company, I could understand, but instead, they were requesting loans or authorization to use my name. It felt disturbing since they obviously approached me with the goal of taking advantage of me. Jake might approach me just to get females or elevate his own standing, given his character. Nevertheless, I have no desire to assist people who previously claimed that I could never succeed. As part of my job, I also work in the construction industry, and occasionally I visit the site dressed in uniform to provide direct directions. I appreciate having direct conversations with Kevin, the site manager, in order to establish a strong rapport based on trust. This strategy makes sure that because of our shared trust, we can help one another when we need it. Even when my subordinates tell me I don't need to go that far, I persuade them that I'm doing it because I want to value personal connections. I'm really pleased of my subordinates because they carry on my heritage by appreciating the trust they gain from clients and coworkers. But maybe that's why they advise me to take it a little slower. I don't want to bother my subordinates, so because we're all working for the same goal, I feel compelled to start giving them greater responsibility this year. It's not that I can't unwind without working or that I don't trust them. I can't help but be involved in my work since I actually love it. Therefore, I can't just sit back and do nothing. I have been preparing to launch a new business recently. I'll be personally busier once it gets rolling, which should help balance my job in the current company. Right now, it's only in the planning stages. I can delegate some of my workload to my subordinates once this new endeavor gets going, which will reduce my involvement. I went to my place of employment today to have a conversation with Kevin regarding a number of topics. I get a lot of input from talking to other individuals outside, which is effective. There cannot be an output without an input. Although I genuinely enjoy managing a business, I still adore my work. It's not about making money, but rather about managing a business. How to make it work more smoothly, how to boost earnings, and how to deal with issues as they emerge. How should I go about this? I am a businessman because I enjoy putting these things together and carrying them out like a game. Naturally, I need the support of dependable staff members in order to accomplish this. Yes, I am the president who meddles in personnel problems and interferes. I would like to see and speak with my subordinates. I am involved in personnel concerns, and the other employees recognize that staffing decisions have the power to make or break a company. I then go back to the office and carry on working while wearing my work attire, despite my secretary's constant requests that I change at the very least. I always ignore it because I find it too annoying. Kevin laughed at me today when I brought this up. Typically, affluent individuals and business leaders would rather not wear work clothes because they care about how they look, but I see efficiency as the most important factor, so I'm not sure why they would feel otherwise. You'll get complaints about the boardroom and business clothing, I guess. Why? During the time I'd be changing, I'd rather work. That's understandable. But what if you get an unexpected guest? If the president is dressed in business attire, doesn't that seem horrible? That's what everyone says, but I don't understand. I'm the president, regardless of whether I'm dressed for work or not. Indeed, you are correct when you phrase it that way. Why everyone is so focused on appearances is beyond me. It's a matter of manners. You must uphold TPO in order to avoid offending the other person. Yes, Now that you put it that way, Tyler's point also seems to make logic. Tyler and I got together and had dinner together today prior to the scheduled mixer. We usually get together, and today was no exception, but instead of spending time together, we got into a heated debate about my work attire. I didn't think there was anything wrong with wearing work attire, because I dislike those who are preoccupied with appearances and status. Tyler made some valid arguments, though, so I opted to retain a few suits at the office in case I needed them later. In this manner, I can maintain TPO, even in the event of an unforeseen guest. Tyler never undermines my intransigence. Instead, he consistently points me in the proper direction. He's a really cozy friend to hang out with. We discussed Tyler's latest work situation and exchanged information today. It seems that he has been experiencing employment anxiety lately. Everything was going well until last month, but now he's beginning to worry that he might not have a future at his present employer. Tyler was given a new boss last week, but he doesn't really get along with him. I explained to Tyler that if he doesn't get along with his boss, there's no point in sticking with that company and waiting for the boss to relocate or for there to be another personnel change. This is from the standpoint of a business owner. It is not effective. In my opinion, we shape our surroundings. Tyler acknowledged this and expressed that he would give switching jobs some serious thought. I was at a work site earlier on the day of the event, so I walked directly to the meeting location dressed for work. Normally, I'm not lost, but for some reason that day I was, so I had to contact Tyler. He was standing in front of the restaurant, waiting for me. "Hey, come on over. It's right here. It's a little concealed, and I got lost in it. I truly appreciate you coming, haha. But I'm going to be departing soon. You're still dressed for work because of this. Just stay until the party warms up. It's okay." Jake was seated when we walked into the restaurant. I hadn't seen him in a very long time. My mood dipped because I still remembered things from the past and hadn't dealt with them completely. "Jake, do you still remember me? William is here. Even though he was busy today, he made the entire trip here. Tyler, please just give me a moment. You mentioned inviting someone, huh? Heist back, is that correct? A person dressed for work is a bit excessive. Oh, I see. There was miscommunication. No, I was correct the entire time. Jake, long time no see." Jake did not even say hello before making fun of me because he saw me wearing my work attire. Fearing for his life, Tyler tried to step in, but Jake was not listening, so I took over. "William, you must be regretting not listening to me." "Why would I do that?" "Avoid tagging someone who is harsh. I think I told you. It's not feasible for a rural kid like you to succeed as a businessman in New York, so it's only natural that you failed and became a laborer, isn't it? Pathetic. You would have at least had a steady life if you had followed my advice and obtained a job like Tyler and me. No, I'm living a stable life. It is impossible for a worker to work outside, particularly during this sweltering weather. There is an upper limit to physical labor. Perhaps you ought to think about changing careers." I appreciate the guidance. Being stern once more. Come on, showing up to a mixer in work attire. You'll never find any women. Being unpopular is all right with me. I just didn't want to make the effort to change. Part 2 of acting tough. I'm sorry for you. William, you need to get a steady position at a large company like mine, and all the females will come running. It's delightful. That doesn't pique my attention. I honestly lead a happy, steady life. What I'm discussing goes beyond what you consider stable. If you saw the change, you would be astounded. I'll forget that in the past you disregarded me. Do you want my guidance? I can even request that my supervisor hire you. Jake, hurry up. In reality, Tyler is William. Just keep silent for a while. I will impart a life lesson to William. Tyler, it's all right. I'm curious to hear what Jake has to say. Jake was completely out of control, which flustered Tyler. I was interested to see what kind of guidance Jake, who had experience with more success than me, would give at this stage. I was interested in hearing it. All right, letting down a little. Okay, let's start with step 1. Be proud to be a country boy. Be modest and virtuous. Why? Because there are a lot of proud folks in New York. People will naturally take care of you if you act like a dumb country lad and admit you're one. Simple, huh? These folks will usually cover your expenses, so take advantage of the freebies. Interesting. I wasn't interested in listening any more after his shrewd first bit of advice. I chose to give Jake a chance, though, in order to fully reveal his true self. The next step is to treat yourself with the money you saved from these folks. Pay Jay. When I went out to eat, I hardly paid for anything. Others did. I then make use of the cash I save on entertainment costs. Interesting. Are you keeping up with the discussion? You must find it refreshing to hear from a successful urbanite, don't you think? Hold on, Jake. Tyler. Don't worry. You could learn anything if you listen. William, pay attention to this one next. Pay attention. Using the additional cash to flirt with women is the final phase. Having fun with ladies? At last, Jake began uttering nonsensical things. Spending money you've saved on women. Of course, depending on how you play, it can be utterly trashy and abhorrent. Spend money, and don't be frugal with mixers like these. You lose as a man, don't you, if women label you cheap, even in the event of incurring debt. Taking on debt, eh? To be struggling to make ends meet, like you, the word debt must carry a lot of weight. I understand, but it's okay. I'm not advocating that you take out a loan from a loan shark. Make use of your credit card. It accomplishes 2 goals at once and gives the appearance of a smoother payment. I couldn't hold back my laughter. To begin with, the mentality is extremely traditional. The temptation to womanize with borrowed money is beyond me. The hubris to mislead and force others to spend their money. Money is cheap too. How in the world can he be boasting? You don't appear to be understanding it. Did you hear me? I heard you, but what? I'm not sure why, but it simply feels pointless to me. How come? Why do you act so haughtily? You're still forced to perform manual labor as a result, repeating your previous errors. Well, I haven't erred in any way, and womanizing isn't my thing. I get irritated just staring at you. You arrive in New York, lead a wretched existence, yet you still project an air of grandeur and refuse to even hear what others have to say. Why are you acting this way? I hope I didn't come across as conceited, but perhaps our beliefs are just different after all. I'm having a good time, and I'm sure Jake is too. You really irritate me. Obviously, I'm content. Here, I'm the most accomplished. Resultant? Heed. For what reason are you laughing? Put an end to it. Okay, 2 women showed up just as Jake was ready to snap and throw himself at me. Jake immediately took a different tone and returned to his seat. Hi, it's good to meet you. My name is Jake. Let's enjoy ourselves tonight. My name is Tyler. I appreciate you being here. Let's order some beverages first because Maria, our organizer, will be running a little late. I apologize to the girls for the confusion caused by the guy joining us dressed for work. Since that differs from what I was informed, I was taken aback. I'll pay the girls' expenses tonight as an apology. Hey, Tyler and Jake, don't worry. Give him space. Ignoring the distress the females were feeling, Jake kept making fun of me in front of them. I stopped Tyler when he attempted to step in. I don't mind if girls are attracted to men who speak negatively about other people so freely. They seem like a good match. Yes, please proceed. What a loser like you says is irrelevant. Is that accurate? Hey girls, do you hear me? This man used to be a classmate of mine back home. He had this absurd dream after we went to New York, and I attempted to explain him the reality, but he was completely unreceptive. And now look at him. You see, I've built a name for myself in New York, and here he is, still working hard labor and dressed in his work clothes. It merely confirms my earlier assertions. I had just been counseling him earlier. Jake continued rambling, making himself look foolish as the girls cast uncomfortable glances at him. Tyler had his hands clasped around his head. I merely waited for time to pass while staring blankly at Jake's face. I kindly spent my time and energy teaching Jake how to survive in New York because he was so engrossed in his work that he failed to recognize the atmosphere. You would normally be appreciative, right? It's a rare opportunity to give counsel on how to stop being miserable. But he claims he doesn't require my guidance. How do you feel? Really impolite, don't you think? Say thank you, at the very least. It's really rude of you to come here dressed for work. It's embarrassing. Simply ignore him. I sincerely apologize to the girls for inviting such a moron. What a perverse character he is. It's okay, Tyler. The females claimed they didn't mind, although they appeared to be uncomfortable. After the first round, I knew this gathering would come to an end. The food and beverages arrived during this time, which helped to diffuse the tense atmosphere a little. Tyler turned to face me while Jake and the females were chatting. William, I apologize sincerely for this. It's okay, but perhaps you should stop allowing him to take advantage of you. Yes, I've always been terrible at saying no and have merely followed orders, but today I've made a decision. I no longer want to hang out with him. You know you don't have to do that for me, only in cases where it truly bothers you. I find it bothersome. I wish not to possess. Moreover, my ideals differ from those of Jake. Then you ought to stay away from him without a doubt. We ate our supper in silence, making fun of Jake's persona all the time. It was excruciating to see Jake publicly brag about his success in his firm and in society. Although I was unaware of Jake's level of success, I know that people who exaggerate their accomplishments typically have little to show for it. Thus, I secretly hoped that his actual nature would soon come to light. Then the final female, who was late, showed up. Sorry for being late, Maria. I appreciate you being here. We've just started eating, so don't rush. This is Maria, our female organizer, William, and Jake. Nice to meet you, Maria. What the heck? Hello, Maria. My name is Jake. You are quite gorgeous. We met in a miracle. Please take a seat. Upon greeting, Maria was shocked by something, but Jake continued talking without noticing and motioned for her to have a seat. How could someone be that naive? Just how does he function? Because I touched a gorgeous female, please quit acting sly. Jake, that's not the point. Relax. Maria brushed Jake off cold for some reason and came over to me. Are you William? The man dressed professionally? You should be with someone as high class as me, given your beauty. Pardon me, but what on earth are you talking about? Did you really just refer to William as the guy in work clothes? That is very amazing. Maria, please don't be so irrational. Did you previously know William? Have we previously met? Sorry, I don't quite remember you. You're really impolite. For a loser, remembering someone as lovely as her is a miracle. Men in success tend to recall the people they've met. Could you please keep quiet? Who believe you to be? Please stop talking. Yikes. Then Maria lost her temper. With their mouths agape, the other females appeared to be rooting for her. Tyler watched Maria and me, looking perplexed. Normally, I can recall faces well, but where did we meet? Maria's face was quite gorgeous, so I should be able to remember it, but I couldn't remember at all. You're William, the CEO of Fun Group, right? Yes, but Fun Group is where I work. Although I haven't met you yet, I've always wanted to. I became a member due to my fascination with your corporate concept. Mr. Smith. I see. One of our workers. Meeting here is awkward. What? You're not serious. You do not hold a CEO position. That isn't feasible. Will you please stop it now? William holds a prominent position as an executive in New York, and you've been behaving quite superior. But give up lying. People you've met are not remembered by you. William, a chief executive officer. Not at all. I'm telling the truth. I'm a capable employee. Simply look it up if you don't trust me. You also lie a lot. Jake, we've already met through Cash Corporation. You talk about yourself all the time and never listen to others. I'd assume you don't remember me. That's embarrassing, is it not? The girls, unable to contain their amusement any longer, chuckled. Huh. Jake looked flushed and desperately searched on his phone. What? And you're a CEO, William? Fun Group, a well-known business, is expanding at the quickest rate in New York. Why did you remain silent? I assumed it would cause problems with someone such as yourself. I discovered its risk aversion. As a CEO, I would advise dropping everything you suggested I do earlier. Nobody will want to hang out with you in the end. I apologize for stating this in a private setting, but I truly enjoy my work. I'm fully engrossed in it. I appreciate you providing me the chance to work for such a fantastic organization. Actually, I want to thank you for starting this incredible business. Although hearing this in front of people is a little awkward, I'm happy to hear that you're loving your employment. Just take care not to become all work and no play like me. Normally, I'm active in the hiring process, but scheduling conflicts may have prevented me from seeing your branch. Maintain your excellent work in the organization. Yes, thank you so much. Hey, William, things will go quickly if you own a business. I want to discuss something. Girls, this party is done. It's time to go. Jake abruptly cut us off from our talk with a demand. Are you serious? How illiterate can this guy become? His conceited approach to the subject was beginning to irritate me a little. Jake, if you're going to dismiss the girls, you should at least follow through on your promise. Make a vow. As an act of contrition for my presence causing difficulties, you promise to pay for the females, right? The first two girls gave a nod of approval. Maria gave Jake a chilly look, making it obvious that she thought this man was terrible news. However, that was prior to my learning that you were a company owner. I assumed that since I held a more senior role, I would be responsible for paying. However, things are different now. William, hurry up. Absurd. What a frugal dude. I would not have come today if I had known you were coming. Don't become arrogant just because you happen to be somewhat attractive. It indicates that you are simply that unimportant if I can't recall you. Avoid becoming arrogant. Tyler lost all self-control and yelled out of frustration. Is Jake truly the kind of man who, in order to maintain his pride, would say such horrible things to women? I'm in such shock that I'm at a loss for words. Ladies, put the money aside. I apologize profusely for today. Maria, is it possible for me to apologize to you later? Tyler, you don't need to apologize because you've done nothing wrong. Please ensure that I never have to interact with this jerk again. Mr. Smith, I'm sorry to have shown you this ugly spectacle today. I'm excited to collaborate with you going forward. Obviously. I swear to make sure this doesn't happen to you again. Once more, I apologize. I'll communicate with you. Similarly, I'll never forget your face. Now indeed, people who can work really stand out. Pardon me, I'm being made fun of by everyone. It enrages me. After having scarcely eaten, the females eventually left. They must have been anticipating the day, but Jake's egotism made everything go wrong. Did he even know that at all? Jake caught on to Tyler and Maria and my critical comments about him, and he grew enraged. He had no idea what he was doing and never listened to others, instead reacting quickly to his own problems. What a prickly man. William, I apologize deeply. I took my time as I understand how busy you are. Tyler, don't worry. Seeing Jake's antics was well worth the time. What? Nothing embarrassing that I can recall doing. You've been boasting and disparaging other people a lot. That is not the behavior of Victor. The best thing I've ever done is to follow my dreams instead of listening to you. I've fulfilled my dreams and goals, as you can see. Let the past be forgotten. Well, I'm in need of a favor. Jake is incredibly petty and is making a convenient effort to seem as though his embarrassing behavior never occurred. He even has the gall to beg for a favor. Despite my lack of desire to assist him, I chose to hear what he had to say. Tell me, what is it? If you like, I can cover the cost of the meal. I can support a fellow countryman in need. That is anticipated, correct? You have wealth. That is completely unanticipated. Jake, get a handle on things. I will cover the cost. Don't become too agitated. It's not often that I see you this way, Tyler. Tyler, don't worry. Let's listen to Jake's perspective. My request is, could you lend me some money? What? You just claim to be extremely wealthy. William lives a miserable life, but I'm successful. Well, I just wanted to have a little pride in myself. It's a little tight because I spent too much money on girls this month. Absurd. You're done entirely. Tyler, please keep quiet. I'm currently having a crucial chat. William, think of it as helping a friend. You mentioned that you were successful at work, Jake. You can handle this month's challenges, but what about next month? It's what's wrong, William. Hear me out. My company does not recognize talent. Someone as competent and kind-hearted as I am is not appreciated by them. Rather, they elevate completely worthless individuals before me. As a company owner, what are your thoughts on that? I don't think you need to say more. Tyler, I would never lend money to anyone except for business purposes. Now hurry up. May I apply for a job at your company? I want to leave the unappreciated work I'm in now, but finding a new one is a chore. You can get around all the challenging procedures if you're in charge, right? That would be fantastic. No. What? Why not? We're friends, right? Tyler is a friend, but you're just an acquaintance from school. Why do you act so aloof? Do you still have grudges against the past? Forget about the little things. I'll apologize if you say you'll hire me. Okay, you should apologize first. Come with me, William. This isn't going away. Ed. All right. Jake, farewell. I doubt we will cross paths again. Be careful. Wait a minute. Hey, Tyler, and I walked away from Jake, who was holding on tight. Naturally, I paid the bill. I doubted Jake ever planned to pay the amount he was due to. He most likely would have tried to get Tyler and myself to pay if the mixer had gone as planned. He must be a tremendous pain in the office. Certainly, one cannot trust a man who lies like that all the time at work. Maybe I should ask you for a job. Tyler, you're always welcome. I'll spare you from all the difficult steps. Jake would cry later. I discovered that Jake's subpar work was the reason he was viewed as a liability by his employer. It would be simpler to handle Jake if he took on a less involved job at the company, but he consistently oversteps his bounds and receives reprimands because he believes he is capable. He boasts to ladies about his alleged workability and stature at mixers, where he lets out his frustrations despite being the source of his own problems. He even bemoans the fact that someone as competent as he is treated unfairly by his employer. I work in human resources, and Jake is the epitome of the kind of person you should never hire. After our meeting, Jake carried on as usual. I turned him down for a job and a loan, but he continued to live a life of despair. He boasted the same way at mixers every time he came back to our hometown, which eventually made everyone sick of him. The fact that Tyler told us the truth about Jake simply made him more apart from our community, and he no longer often goes home. However, I was able to convince Tyler to work for my organization. Since Tyler never tells lies, I felt secure in our relationship of mutual trust. We need individuals like this for executive positions, people who can be completely trusted. So soon after he joined, I gave him an executive position. Tyler felt the part was too fantastic for him at first, but I reassured him of my confidence and helped him embrace it. Having Tyler as a close assistant makes things much easier for me as I launch a new business. Being able to lead new projects is thrilling. I'm appreciative of my early realization of my talent for management and my ability to make snap decisions. I'm appreciative of the people in my immediate vicinity's support, but my name is Eugene Harrison, and I'm a 35-year-old office worker. I work in IT, but I'm basically a gopher. I was hired by this company about 6 months ago. It's mainly involved in system development, and I handle various chores like making copies to help others work smoothly. My days are busy and fulfilling. However, from the start, I've been labeled as an engineer who isn't much use. No one in my department chats with me outside of work, so I eat lunch alone on the rooftop during breaks. But in April, things changed when there was a personnel shift. The boss overseeing our department was transferred, and a new boss took over. She wasn't an engineer, but was chosen for her strong management skills. The old boss mentioned how engineers often work overtime, and the rising overtime pay was a problem. The new boss, Jennifer Parker, is a stunning beauty. The men in the department were buzzing when she gave her inaugural address. I'd heard rumors about her looks, but she was even more gorgeous in person. I was smitten at first sight. She's 5 years younger than me, yet she looks mature and competent. Like the other male employees, I quickly became a fan of Jennifer. However, she didn't particularly like me. She saw me as an employee who can't do his job. I soon realized she was closely observing everyone's behavior to understand the department. About a week later, she began distributing tasks perfectly. Within a month, overtime and errors dropped significantly. Morale was high, and frustrations decreased. I was relieved because I often bore the brunt of those frustrations. Jennifer's arrival coincided with a project deadline, so the welcoming party was postponed for about a month and a half. By then, she had already integrated herself into the department. The party was casual and lively, like a no-holds-barred atmosphere. Spirits were high after the project deadline. I don't drink alcohol at social gatherings, so I sipped my soft drink and watched everyone get progressively drunker. Not many people talked to me, except for new recruits like Sally and her group, but that might change by winter. While chatting with the younger ones about travel, Jennifer joined the conversation. She had been coerced into drinking quite a bit and was thoroughly inebriated. Her eyes were half closed, a far cry from her usually sharp and focused demeanor. "You've had too much to drink, Jennifer," I pointed out, steadying her as she struggled to sit upright. The new recruits looked worried too. "I'm not drunk. You're all just making fun of me," she giggled while denying it. This wasn't good. She was clearly intoxicated. "Stop talking only to the younger ones, Eugene. Talk to me too, or don't you want to mingle with a younger female boss?" she said, leaning in closer to me, clearly fueled by the alcohol. I wanted to create some distance, but I had the feeling that if I did, she might tumble out of her chair. The new recruits, likely scared of being caught up in this situation with a boss, made a hasty retreat, leaving Miss Jennifer and me alone at a corner table. "Come on, Jennifer, sit straight," I said, trying to push her upright by the shoulder, but she was swaying and struggling to find her balance. "Can't you lend me your shoulder?" It's not like it's going to decrease," she slurred, hardly forming her words properly. Acting like a child, she was swinging her legs, and one of her high heels went flying under the table. Jennifer was surprised to find her shoe missing and stuck her face under the desk. The next moment, she started laughing uproariously. "You always put on such a serious face, Eugene, but I can tell you're really good at your job. You think you got me fooled, but you're just underestimating me," she said, puffing out her cheeks. This caught me off guard. As far as I knew, only the CEO was aware of my background, and it seemed unlikely that Jennifer would have been informed. Did she notice something from the way I usually act? "You're underestimating me," she yelled, playfully punching me with a weak cat punch. "I have 2 things I don't like: alcohol and drugs." This was getting out of hand. Could someone give me a hand with Jennifer, please? I called out to the bustling tables around us, and a colleague came over to help the drunk Jennifer. Even as she was being led away, she didn't let go of my arm. Jennifer's colleague Jane, who joined the company at the same time as her, informed me that she had asked Jennifer's sister to pick her up. A taxi was on its way. Despite her low alcohol tolerance, she loves her booze, Jane chuckled, sharing some inside information. By this point, Jennifer had started doozing off, still clinging to my arm. "You've become her favorite," Jane laughed as she observed this. Jennifer's pickup arrived about 15 minutes later. I apologize for the trouble my sister has caused. A woman who looked strikingly like Jennifer said when she arrived, but her vibe was completely different. She clearly didn't seem like a corporate worker. "Excuse me, I'm Kate, Jennifer's sister. I'm sorry for any trouble she's caused." Her sister deeply apologized to me, making me feel somewhat embarrassed. She had a cab waiting outside the bar, so I helped Jennifer to the cab. During this time, I noticed that Kate kept glancing at me. "Is there something on my face?" I asked while checking my face with my hand. Kate shook her head and said, "No. Are you a systems engineer?" I was asked by Kate, and I explained my job to her. I admitted that I was a systems engineer, but mostly worked on various tasks. Kate tilted her head curiously. Her gesture seemed youthful, and I found it adorable. At the same time, something in my memory was nagging at me. I recalled feeling the same uneasy sensation when I first met Jennifer. The inexplicable unease continued even after they got in the cab and left. The next day, as soon as I got to work, Jennifer grabbed my arm and said, "I'm really sorry. I heard I was really bothering you yesterday." She kept apologizing, making me feel bad. "Well, it's not a big deal. You were drunk." I tried to brush it off as a joke. Apparently, she had been scolded by Kate when they got home and was told to apologize to me. "I'm really sorry," she said with a deeply remorseful face. "Don't worry about it. It was just a company drinking party. I didn't mind at all." On hearing this, Jennifer seemed relieved and smiled. Her smile made my heart flutter in a different way from the night before, but I decided to keep this feeling to myself. About a month and a half had passed since the drinking party. I was still busy doing odds and ends, but I felt fulfilled. During lunch break, as usual, I headed to the rooftop. There was a small chapel on the rooftop of our building. I always have my lunch there, offering a prayer daily. Usually, my favorite spot is empty, but today there was already someone there. It was a new employee, Sally. She was highly regarded in our department for being a quick learner among the new hires. She was crying with a trembling voice. I thought about ignoring it and leaving, but reconsidered. I called out to her, trying not to startle her. She seemed to think no one would come, so she was startled and stood up. Seeing me standing there, she seemed to lose all energy and sat back down. "What's wrong? Did something happen?" I sat down beside her and asked. Tears began to overflow from her large eyes. In a panic, I looked for a handkerchief, but couldn't find one. I handed her a packet of tissues I got from the subway station on my commute. "I might not be much help, but would you like to talk to me about it?" I encouraged her. She sniffled and began to share. Apparently, she had made a mistake at work. She couldn't correct a bug. She was in charge of the security system, currently assisting in the rebuilding of a system for a major client. She was supposed to handle the security part. I checked the date. At this rate, she wouldn't make the deadline. She started crying, raising her voice. "Have you talked to any senior staff? The project is handled by a team, not an individual." I had a feeling they were piling work on her, a new hire. She nodded lightly. She had asked for help, but apparently everyone else was too busy with their own work. With the deadline approaching, they must be jealous of her skills and refusing to help. Otherwise, they wouldn't leave something so crucial to just her. I thought for a while, then decided to help her, but I had one condition, which I told her. I wanted her to keep it a secret that I helped. She seemed surprised, but probably had no choice. She said, "Please." That afternoon, I scrubbed the program in between my chores. The bug was found surprisingly easily. There were other parts I wanted to fix too, so I hurried to correct them. The system program she created was fixed before the end of the day. I secretly handed it back to her. She exclaimed, "What? Already?" "Keep it a secret." I put my finger to my lips and said. She nodded understandingly. Everyone was desperate with the deadline approaching. I thought no one would notice, but there was someone in this department who had been observing me. It was Jennifer. The next morning, right after the morning meeting, I was called by Jennifer. "You fixed this program, didn't you, Eugene? It's impossible to find and correct a bug and rebuild it in such a short time. What's going on?" I was at a loss for words. I had underestimated Jennifer. It was my mistake to overestimate that I could deceive her, who monitored and oversaw everything. Well, I couldn't find the next words to say. Jennifer stood up as if irritated by me. "I looked into your background because I was curious. Even the erased parts. Why? Why are you just a general affairs officer when you're better than anyone else in this department? Are you making a fool of me?" Jennifer couldn't hide her anger and raised her voice at me. I wondered why she was so angry. Whether I work or not, whether I have the ability or not, it's up to me how I use my power. To be blunt, this isn't a matter worth upsetting Jennifer over. I was torn between telling her the truth and just quitting my job. That being said, it did get under my skin a bit when Jennifer got irrationally angry without understanding the situation. The moment I opened my mouth to retort, the department door was flung open roughly. Heavy footsteps approached us. Who made this security program? The one raising her voice was Kate. Sally mumbled, "It was me." At this, Kate stormed towards her. She shrank back in fear, tears welling up in her eyes again. She was expecting to be scolded for some mistake. The fear of being unable to explain herself was palpable. Panicked, I stepped forward. Thought it was me. I did it, and raised my hand, identifying myself to Kate. She halted and turned around to face me. Then she grinned. "I thought so. Why, Kate?" I asked. Jennifer said, "Kate is a white hat hacker hired by this company. It's her job to find vulnerabilities by breaking the security we built. My program was handed over to Kate last night. Apparently, she's been making a fuss since seeing it." Kate, standing before me, looked at me intently. "It's been a while, Eugene. Don't you remember me?" She grabbed her long hair in one hand and tied it up into a ponytail. I did recognize that look. Wait, why? My memories rushed back to high school. That was during a coding program over summer vacation. It was a government-planned program to teach system programming to students in the UK. I remember being among those hand-picked from various places. We didn't interact much due to the age gap, but she, as an elementary schooler, would often engage me in conversation. That was Kate. Her hacking skills overshadowed those of the college and high school students that were with us, and I remember being astounded. There was a talent in her that couldn't be reached through hard work alone. In the end, I decided to stay and study in the UK during the exchange program. I haven't seen her since. Do you work as a handyman here? Don't be ridiculous. I know that you have more talent than anyone else here. Why are you holding back? She was angry because the program was too perfect. How are you? My talent is my business, isn't it? Even though she doesn't know a thing, she imposes her opinions, and I can't hide my irritation anymore. In the midst of our glaring, Jennifer steps in between us, and, in the next moment, she slapped my cheek with a resounding smack. For a moment, I couldn't comprehend what had happened to me. When I realized it wasn't Kate who slapped me but Jennifer, I was truly shocked. Why don't you utilize your talents? Why? I long for that talent so much I could choke while receiving the same gift as Kate. Why? Jennifer scolded me with a serious look, and my irritation subsided in an instant. Tears welled up in her eyes. No matter how much I try, I can't beat Kate. Dad's favorite. Is it me? It's Kate. Why? Because I don't have a gift, even though we are twins. What's between me and Kate? At Jennifer's words, Kate hung her head. It's not Kate's fault, and it's not Jennifer's fault either. It's nothing but a cruel joke by God. Jennifer then dashed out into the hallway. Go after her. Take responsibility, Kate said, still looking down. Twins are strange. They always want the same things. I have the best gift, so Eugene, you can give yours to Jennifer. I couldn't see Kate's face as she was still looking down, but then I remembered the last day of that summer vacation. Kate wrapped a small piece of wire around my finger and said, Please remember to find me when we grow up. I'll become your wife. I thought it was a joke from a grade schooler and soon forgot about the promise. I'm sorry. I have to go. Leaving those words behind, I went after Jennifer. I saw her turning the corner of the hallway and climbing the stairs to the rooftop. Wait, Jennifer. Even though I called out to her, Jennifer didn't stop. There was a loud bang, and the rooftop door opened. When I got to the rooftop, Jennifer was hunched over, hugging her knees beside the small chapel. She was burying her face in her knees. I quietly sat next to her. I'm sorry, I said some horrible things. I apologized to Jennifer for my arrogant words. My apology itself might have been taken as arrogant. Even so, I wanted to apologize. Jennifer shook her head slightly at my apology. It's not something you should apologize for, Eugene. I'm sorry for speaking without knowing anything. As she said this, she raised her head. Her eyes were red. I just want you to listen to my story for a little while. I started talking with that preface. Since returning from the UK, I was working hard as a systems engineer at a company my friend started. Everything was going well, but the friend who became successful seemed to see me as a hindrance. He spread rumors that I had stolen the system someone else created and tarnished my credibility in the industry. Moreover, he claimed all of my accomplishments as his own at industry parties. I lost everything. I didn't want to trust anyone anymore, and I didn't want to use my talents for work. The one who picked me up when I was down was the CEO of this company. We had worked together before. He hired me, saying, "It's okay to take it easy." This was a story I had never told anyone. Jennifer listened to my story with a serious expression. After speaking out, I felt a strange sensation as if a weight had been lifted from my chest. I tried hard, but I was never good enough. I don't have the talent or the sense like Kate. That's why I worked hard to acquire other talents to be successful as a career woman. That's what Jennifer vowed to herself. But every now and then, she said it hurt to see Kate. She explained that she was angry at me for holding back my talents, even though I had them. If I think about it, I was just taking out my frustrations on you, Eugene. I'm sorry. Her sideways glance still looked somewhat childlike. The gap between this and her professional demeanor at work was charming. It may sound arrogant, but I want to use my talent for you from now on. It was a confession of a lifetime. Upon hearing my words, Jennifer opened her eyes wide in surprise. Her expression reminded me of a surprised cat, and it was extremely cute. I've been constantly charmed by her different sides. Are there any lies in what you just said? She asked while peering into my eyes. Of course not. In sickness and in health. My words were cut off by Jennifer's hands. Her face was bright red. Looking away, she said curtly, "Isn't that a bit too soon?" That's how serious I am. I stood up and extended my hand to Jennifer, who was looking up at me. Without any hesitation, she took my hand. The woman who stood up was no longer a young girl. She had returned to her professional working woman's demeanor. Then start working hard from today. Don't hold back your skills. Sure, I said to her with a smile. She squinted her eyes slightly, as if looking at something dazzling. Using my talents for her, I wondered if there could be any greater happiness. Years later, she was laughing next to me in a wedding dress. Many people asked me if it was hard to have her as a boss, but it was not hard at all. I was proud to be able to help her every day. I promise to make you happy. I want you to smile and be in a good mood every day. At my words, Jennifer quietly nodded. I'm ready to walk through life together with her from now on.